Brian, thank you for joining us. We're just going to have a little bit of a catch up and just update fans on what's going on around the club, pretty much.
Yeah, no problem.
Start off with the family excellence report, which we've just had through. Finished 4th out of 24 in League One. Tell fans what that means to us as the club.
Yeah, basically the EFL send a mystery family out normally twice per season, and they report on all aspects of the match day experience, from purchasing tickets online to arriving at the stadium, the friendliness of the staff, the club shop, the catering, and it's basically the full match day experience. Now, we always try our best because we take these really seriously. So the report has come in from our first one, which happened to be the mystery family came to the Charlton game, which was a cracking game to come to when we won 1-0. So that was positive, but it's not about that because these people are neutral, not from the area, and they take it purely a full report, and it's probably about 12 pages long on every aspect. We did come out, as you say, there 4th out of our 24 for points in each aspect of it, and also I think we're 14th out of the 72 clubs in the EFL, which is really positive as well. There are always things that we can improve on. There are always comments, but we take these very seriously because it's important that, that's the drive from this is for clubs to look at their family excellence reports and try and make things better to encourage new families to come along. But I've got to say, hats off to a lot of the stewards, a lot of the staff at the club who were named and mentioned within the report as going out of their way to try and help. And obviously, unbeknownst to them, they were a mystery family. And they said there was a real family feel about where they were sitting in the family stand, etc. And it was really positive. But as I say, there are always things you can improve on, and these are things that we'll pick off in the coming weeks to try and make sure that we take their view, because it's always good to get a fresh set of eyes looking at our football club and probably comparing it to other clubs as well, and to get such a positive report.
The report also lists our 2019/20 score. The scheme didn't run last season, but this first score that we're discussing now came in at a 9, and our average score for the season prior to last was 7.3. Do you remember what sort of things did we take from the reports 2 years ago to implement to improve the score?
Well, I think generally we all, because not every club takes it seriously, if I'm honest, but we always do take it seriously because we're always in the market for trying to get new families along to Montgomery Waters Meadow. And I think, as I said there about, it's independent eyes, a fresh pair of eyes looking at it from a different perspective. When the reports do come in, we pass it around every single department in the club, from, the club shop to the ticket office to Lawrence from the stewarding point of view. We also want to praise people who have, been named in the report as going out their way. And that, that's the stewarding as well. So I think also we're trying to build a culture at the club over recent years to try and make sure that we look after people, and the match day experience is important. We've done a lot of work with the Supporters Parliament over the years, certainly since I've been at the club, to try and listen to supporters' recommendations, things that we can do on the match day experience, because whilst we can't always control what happens on the pitch, what we can control is what happens off the pitch. So it's really important that every single department takes it seriously, and I've stressed that to all departments when I've sent the reports down. Yes, it's a fantastic report, but let's not rest on our laurels. Let's continue to do good work and try and ensure we can get more and more families along, and encourage people to take the recommendations seriously, that we can hopefully improve and get more people along to the stadium.
Well, you mentioned how this is marked, what the criteria is and everything. Does this all come from this one family's visit, or are there other stages that it goes through?
No, it goes through one family's visit, and it starts off with when they first try to buy tickets, whether they contact the ticket office or whether they buy online. And obviously in the past number of years, the EFL set this up. You don't know who the family are, you don't know whether they're buying online, you don't know if they've phoned up the ticket office. It's all about customer service from start to finish. But also looking at the club shop, we always realise that our club shop seems sometimes gets marked down, but we got a really positive one, despite the size of our shop, the friendliness of the staff, the assistance from the staff, the pop-up shop and the family stand. And then it goes on to like the catering, the entertainment, what was going on for kids, how family orientated it was. And it really is a full report. I mean, it does take a bit of time to read every single aspect of it to ensure the social media coverage, what was in the website. They were really, lauding the fact that we've got a first-time fans section on the website with a video explaining everything about the stadium and showing them around the stadium, which came out as a really positive for the football club that, the media team have put that together. And that's something slightly different not all clubs have got, and they felt very welcoming and very comfortable coming to the football.
Fantastic. As we'll move on from there now, obviously at the moment, COVID is rearing its ugly head again. Could you just update on what's happening currently around the EFL and English football?
Yeah, the EFL had a board meeting last night, and we've been sent some new protocols within the last couple of hours there, which we're all now trying to digest. They're going back to regular testing again, which I think is the right thing to do, which we hadn't been doing. You see the number of cancellations that have happened in the last 24 hours throughout the football pyramids, and I think it is a concern, and we need to look after the health and welfare of our players at the same time, and staff. So that we're reintroducing the red protocols going back. There'll be more, stringent control over whether that's at the training ground or on a match day, how the games are done. So I mean, at the end of the day, everything that they're doing, and I believe is the right thing to do in the current climate with the number of COVID positive tests going up and up, and you see it going through the football world just now. I think we have to look after our staff and players and make sure that everybody's safe, and the thing is carried out in the right way. So there'll be far stricter things going forward. I think the new protocols kick in at the weekend, and then it's regular testing too. So which I think again is the right thing to do, because you don't know whether clubs have been slightly reluctant to test, whereby it might be the right thing to do, test all your players on a regular basis, but it was only a case of testing if they had any symptoms. But I think clubs generally were feeling, well, if we test our players and we lose 2 players through COVID, but the opposition haven't tested at all, they could potentially be playing the game with 5 players with COVID, yet you've weakened your team. So I think it's the right thing to do, is to go back to where we were before with the regular testing, to make sure that we've got the players and the players are fit and healthy and not passing it on further. Because you see some of the teams that are just getting wiped right through just now.
So we've got regular testing coming in the imminent future, but I guess past that, how do you see this situation developing? Will we get to another stage like we were last season with behind closed doors? Will the league be stopped? Do you think it will get that bad, or do you think they're on top of it?
I don't see it at the moment. I think it's very difficult, without a crystal ball, to know what's going to happen in the future. We hope that we can continue with crowds, because financially we need crowds, especially in the lower leagues. It makes up such a massive percentage of our turnover to have crowds, and having lost so much money in the COVID year behind closed doors as a football club, a massive amount of money. It's the last thing we need is for that to happen. But then again, we also want to make sure everybody comes to football and feels safe. What I would say is that coming to football is probably one of the safer ones to go to, because it's an outdoor environment. We've still got the blocks that we've started at the beginning of the season, which are socially distant blocks. So anybody who feels slightly nervous about coming into a crowd situation can still sit with their family in a socially distant area. We obviously encourage our supporters to continue to wear masks as much as possible. We don't. Last thing we want to do is spread this disease or be doing anything. You just hope that if we can try and contain it. Obviously, it's very alarming just now seeing the numbers going up and up. But it's all about everybody playing their part, and making sure that we can come to the stadium safely. We showed it last year, even with when we were behind closed doors. We managed to get the pilots last season, to operate, and we showed that football can still operate safely. Albeit with smaller attendances as we had, but hopefully we don't get to that, and we can try and make sure that everybody gets the vaccine, as many people as possible get. If you're due your second dose, if you're due your vaccine, your booster vaccine, go and get it. And this is why we've partnered with the local NHS for Saturday's match with Cheltenham, whereby the vaccination bus will be in the car park behind the North Stand, from 10 o'clock in the morning, to try and encourage as many people, whether it's people going to shopping at Lidl in the morning or in the area in the morning, supporters coming to the game, both Shrewsbury and Cheltenham supporters, if you're due your second vaccine and you're eligible for it, go and get it. Go and get it on the bus on the way to the football or after the football, or if you're due your booster, go and get it, because the only way to try and curb this, is we hear on a daily basis, is to make sure you're vaccinated.
Last one on COVID before we move on to something slightly more happy. You mentioned that we had some new EFL guidance through today. Could you just update fans what, if at all, or what the impact that has on them?
To be honest with you, obviously the guidance has come out before, whereby everybody's probably seen it, whereby your anticipated crowd of over 10,000, then everybody had to have a vaccine passport. So with the fact that our capacity, we're not anticipating 10,000 spectators, because our capacity is 9,875. We don't have over 4,000 standing places, so we're required to have the vaccine passport. But what I would always do is encourage people to wear masks. Keep the distance as much as you possibly can, because we want people to come safely, despite us not necessarily needing to have the vaccine passports. The guidance today is obviously from a crowd perspective. There's nothing really massively going to impact the supporters coming, but we'll obviously still have our sanitisation areas. We'll still operate without outside catering units, as we have done all season, because we've tried to play it safe throughout. The vaccine passports might come in for away games where the crowd is over 10,000. So I obviously encourage anybody to think ahead, and we'll obviously publicise any games where you require a vaccine passport if you're travelling to an away game. But most of the protocols are more about the players and making sure that they are safe and healthy, and make sure that they're doing things the right way, and the protocols are in place for that.
Brilliant. Now, obviously, January coming up, preparing for a busy one, I'm sure yourself. Can you update fans on it? It's the latest with the strategy and everything for January.
Yeah, no, I think there's no secret. Obviously, Steve's keen to get more players in for the January window. We need to make use of it. Keith Burt, who came in as head of recruitment when Steve came in last December, has been working, all the hours to identify targets, even over since the window closed and all, to identify targets for this window. And I know Steve and Keith have been speaking on a very regular basis to make sure that we're ahead of the game, to try and get targets in as quickly as possible in the January window. So I know they're speaking on a daily basis, if not more than daily, and setting up meetings, etc., with various agents, etc., to try and work on making sure they get the targets in that they want to drive in over this January window. So hopefully we can be successful and have a successful window, and which can push our own league position and help our league position get us a few points up the table, because the league is so tight this year, as we all know. So if we could bolster the squad a little bit with new recruits, and hopefully climb the table a little bit and get away from where we want to be.
Brilliant. Last question. What have you got an update for fans on the Liverpool ticket situation?
Yeah, we've actually been talking to Liverpool most of this week about the ticket allocation. They've offered us up to 8,000 tickets, the same as the last time. We are agreeing the prices just now. We've just agreed the prices with them. They've sent us through the manifest, which is basically where they want us to the plan of their stadium, to show where they want us to sell first. We're just awaiting confirmation from Liverpool as to when we're likely to receive the tickets, and as soon as we know that information, we can then publicise when we're selling the tickets. Hopefully, all things being equal, if we can get the tickets in the next few days, then potentially we could have them out on sale at some point next week. But until we get confirmation from Liverpool as to when we'll receive the tickets, we'll then plan from there. We've got a strategy in place whereby obviously season ticket holders and sovereign members will get first priority for the tickets. But obviously, as soon as we know for sure when we're getting the tickets, we can then publicise the sales dates for everybody. At least for this Liverpool game, unlike the last time, we've got a bit more time to sell the tickets, which makes it easier. Because the last time we played Liverpool in the replay, we only had about 7 or 8 days to get, if that, to sell all the tickets, which we did. But hopefully we can be able to announce something in the next couple of days.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brian. Very helpful.